Chat, here we go. We have Chronic versus ApparentlyJack in the winners finals. The winners finals. The winner moves on to the grands, where they have 2 chances at the $1,000 from whoever comes from the lowers. We have AJ and Wiz in the lowers. The rest of the matches will be played on Sunday, but for now, we have a nice juicer for you to finish off the day. Chronic versus his teammate ApparentlyJack. How ApparentlyJack looked in the previous round, it seems like he's going to be cruising to another win. I know that there's a good chance some people felt that, you know, maybe it was just AppJack matching up with Wiz really, really well. But I think we just have an on-form 1v1ing Jack, but we'll have to see. Chronic and AJ did not look poor in their match by any means. Chronic demoed. Jack now. Just a nice little double jump pop to extend the lead to 2. Yo, thank you for the gifted sub. Shroud has been a longtime fan of the channel, so I'm happy that he's now a sub. Jack, my goodness. Perfect placement, top left. Chronic coming immediately off of his game against AJ, but I'm not sure it necessarily matters. I think he hasn't probably burnt out just yet. Jack had a little bit of a break between his 3-1 against Wiz and now. Chronic still searching for a way to find offense here against Jack. He actually just barely was able to redirect that one. Oh, Chronic. I mean, that Jack wanted the demo. He locked in on one of the 4 respawn points and said, if it's this one, bud, I'm getting you and I'm getting the goal. But it wasn't. Chronic showed up on the other side of the field. Chronic didn't want to touch the ball. He recognized after trying to rush to it that it probably wasn't a good idea to just hand it over to Jack, so he pulled away and did his best to matrix away from the ball touch. Jack making it 4-0. Is this a stock Genic? What is this just you pull up a new Fennec and this is what you get? I feel like I don't see a ton of people playing, and I can't find the right word to it. I'm trying to convert Stocktane to stock Fennec. What's the word for a stock? A Stenic. Oh, is that what it is? A Stenic? a Stocknick. I don't know. I couldn't find it. A Stenic? Is that really? That's okay. A Stenic. Chat seems to be fully in agreement. Almost seem to even say that this is a term that, you know, I'm not making up right now, that people use. But this Stenic is currently looking clean because of the gameplay behind it. Chronic still sticking in this game. Jack thought he was going to get a touch on that ball in the corner, and Chronic able to convert on the mistake. AppJack is basically smurfing. Who in the ones game has been so far ahead that it's felt like they're smurfing? I'm trying to think if there's been somebody. I mean, I guess First Killer in NA is kind of like the only this guy's smurfing level of domination that I feel like I've seen. Very peak maybe, yeah. Zen, just because he lost to Rawas, and then he lost a few more times after. It's really hard to do it in this era, just to be clear. Just like in RLCS, I think the one scene has kind of matched the RLCS scene in that once upon a time it was a lot easier to dominate, probably because there's a little bit less competition, a little bit less people playing the game, but also just less matches, less of a structure for like the scene, you know, it's just so it's a little bit easier to dominate everything. Whereas, you know, just like in RLCS now with so many games, so much competition, so open. Because Zem would be the best example with his 12 streak, but I mean, he didn't beat everybody, right? Ruas beat him, and so it's hard to say that he was smurfing. Fairy Peak and First Killer are probably the best two options. Moxie like 2 days a year. Moxie in tournament form, although he wasn't able to pull it out in this tournament. Still could, though. Chronic. I would say not getting smurfed on right now with a minute 30 left to go. Still in this one. Jack was trying to control the ball back into his corner. Chronic diving out to the midfield for a 50, and it pays off. This one, though, maybe not going to pay off as he dives to the back wall for a 50 as well. And Jack able to force off the backboard. All right. Chronic actually says that Jack is smurfing, and with a minute 8 left to go, he's not going to try and get 4 goals. He wants to just go to the next game. So Jack wins game number 1. Game number 2. Chat decided that there was about a 69% chance that Jack would win based on their point predictions. I just felt the need to explain that in case it gets cut out of the video, because that's why all of chat is spamming nice. Jack is going to score first. Try and make chat look correct. Why doesn't Jack have a U.S. flag? Because the U.S. are only allowed to steal one other nation at a time. So for a moment, we were stealing England in order to have Jack and Nully. But we have recently made the trade in order to get Vitality as our own. So we currently only accept French players as North Americans. Therefore, Jack has to go back to being English. Chronic. Great flip through the ball to get constant touches. Does a good job of extending that a little bit more to give it a chance to beat Jack. But Jack was still in good enough position, and just going to launch this flick directly at the back of Chronic. It can be hard to make those saves when you can't turn into it, save it with the nose of your car. You have to just kind of double jump it to get it out. Chronic couldn't do it. Chronic delay flick. Right back on the board. Wave dash kickoff, countering apparently Jack's standard. Hold these guys at low boost. Chronic wants to force the issue. Oh, Jack! That was a great acceleration to full speed. He did not have a ton of boost, but I felt like he was almost at a standstill, but he has to get to full speed to demo Chronic instead of just bump him. Somehow, he found a way. Is it possible to like be supersonic for a moment during the flip and then you would lose it otherwise? But he just perfectly got him right in the moment he was supersonic. Jack flick, top shelf, pinch by Chronic. And is actually able to backflip to clear it away. Hamad wants to update the title. I would not mind. Apparently, it still says the previous round. Don't think you lose speed during a speed flip. Yeah, I don't know. just seemed like Jack got accelerated so quickly. I wasn't even expecting him to be able to get supersonic from that quick of a start, or that slow of a start, I should say. Title correct? Title is correct. So we got scam, is what you're saying. I got one guide, is what you're trying to tell me. Chronic. All the way from his back wall for the lead. Jack, Chronic kind of staring each other down here as he holds on to his dribble. Who's going to move first? They just both slowly move towards the net. That is going to favor Jack, who finishes off with an air dribble bump. Here we go, Chronic into his position. I've been hyping you up so much for these wall air dribbles. Need you to convert. But oh no, Jack is actually going to counter. Threatens the early save off the ceiling and then attacks the ball. Has the reset to use when he finally reaches it. Jack. Front flip. Chronic just tried to double it off the backboard. Couldn't do it. Yo, Virgil, thank you for the 19 months. Much appreciated. Long time subbing. Chronic wins the race to the back corner boost. Immediately rewarded with a goal. Psycho attempt. Yeah, I think it was mostly just an attempt to get rid of it. Somebody said Psycho pandemic. I don't know if it's a pandemic. I think Chronic was very low on boost, and one of the best ways to clear it would have been to, double it back to himself. Psychos do a good job of, maintaining the speed of the ball, maybe even accelerating it. I don't think it was a bad idea. I wouldn't call his attempt to do it the sign of a psycho pandemic, personally, but maybe that's just me. Chronic trying to convert with Jack out of the nets, but Jack does recover. Strong first touch into the ceiling. Can't find a way to follow it up. With 43 seconds left to go, Chronic needs to find a way to even up the scoreline. Jack is cutting early. He wants to take the midfield. Doesn't want to go back to his corner and leave Chronic room to attack still, but it's actually not going to pay off for him. Chronic! Oh no! You can see I'm going to stay on his perspective because we just need to feel the pain alongside him. He is just turtled on what definitely should have been a goal. Here's the pain again. Oh no. 21 seconds. So not out of it. Could, in theory, score a couple kickoffs, but man, it's going to be hard to do so when he definitely should have tied the game. He has a boost to make it work right now. Eligible bump connects. So now 7 seconds to get his kickoff goal. Diagonal kickoff can be very volatile. What are we going to see from Chronic? We saw a lot of wave dash before. Just a standard, perfectly neutral kickoff. There's a center circle, and the ball didn't even move outside of it. Chronic is not going to be able to do this without boost. Thank you, Jack, for making me correct. I was worried there for a second. Seemed promising, but normally, without boost, 0 seconds, not possible. Jack up 2-0. Game number 3. Jack and Chronic. Chronic had a chance there, but to be fair, his chance was just to tie the game. It wasn't to win it. So it still could have ended the same way that it did, but he did flub it a little bit. Now has to try and reverse sweep Jack. Thank you for the 100 bits, Frosty. free to DM me off stream sometime. Jack right now tapping in the first goal. Jack faking here, low speed, low boost as well. Probably wants a 50 even if he's not able to fake Jack. Chronic, another wall to air dribble reset. Far away from the nets. Great execution here from Chronic. He starts his dribble, maybe intentionally, not towards the net. So Jack can't make this early challenge. Instead, Jack floating from the ceiling kind of has to just try and find a way to stay hovering in the air. Hard to do. Chronic then goes over the top of him. Great way to counter how Jack stopped him earlier. Jack loves to slow the game down. There was a time, it was around the time that we did the EU versus NA challenge with Johnny Boy, if you guys remember. 4 players for both teams. And we had apparently Jack in at least a couple of different 1v1s. Maybe just one, but either way, he was just bringing the game to a screeching halt every time he got possession. He would drop the ball down to a carry and then crawl his way to the net. And it was the most menacing crawl of all time because he converted on essentially all of them. The defender would do their best to try and get a read, decide when to challenge. It didn't matter. Whatever they did, despite Jack moving like a snail, he would find a way to get around him, whether it was a low 50 or a flick. Jack's going to make it 4-1 off a kickoff. Chronic, a great hook shot setup. Jack's going to pre-jump it. Actually, pre-jumps it perfectly as a bouncing ball of his own, but he seems to want to go right back to what I've seen him do before, which is just these slow carries. Not going to force the issue. Chronic, does he have the long shot? He does. So this time it doesn't work out for Jack as he felt a little bit pressured to play it fast, I think, because he could have let it fall all the way on his car. Ended up losing control of it. I say fast, I just mean more than just a complete halt like he had been doing before. Chronic wall to air dribble, late recovering Jack. He has basically recreated his kickoff scenarios that he is so effective at. Chronic is the absolute man when it comes to these positions, and he's played them a million times. Jack is not going to be able to passively make these saves. He tried to make the goal line save on the reset shot high that never came. Chronic just threatening that. Follower goal so close. Oh, I just set it to the next 69 whenever I went to go set it. Are we actually getting pretty close to it? Chat quick, spam follow. See if we can get there. Jack wanted the demo, but had long since slowed down on the back wall. Jack, bounce dribble. Cut off early before it could get a real solid angle. Chronic is on 0 boost. He needs to find his way back, but he's got tons of time to do so. Jack, pass to the wall. He wants to play a very safe, straightforward 1v1 style, and Chronic not going to let him do it. Jack with the front flip flick, trying to throw us back to top 1v1 a few years ago. Who's to say it can't work here? Well, Chronic's trying to say, as he got that save and able to convert it for a tie game. Jack again wants the ball on a carry, wants to slow the game down. And oh my goodness, what a save. This time he does not get punished for it. The late recovery to save the ball off the post. Chronic resets, has Jack in the air. This time the angle is not perfect for Chronic. Makes Jack's life a little bit easier. Now it's Jack in Chronic's favorite position. Can he prove to dominate just as much as Chronic does? He actually almost decides to pass it up, which we shouldn't be surprised considering how we've seen Jack play this. He has just been forcing the issue on his carries. I've talked about top 1v1, at the highest level, and how it almost seems like the best players are flowing, going with the flow. If the situation suggests an aerial attack should be made, then they take it. The situation suggests they should play on the ground, they take it. Jack is certainly right now trying to go against that idea and force the issue of his ground game. He has the lead right now and is about to get a full sweep if he can finish this off. So who's to say that he's doing anything wrong? It's just a differing style from a lot of the top ones players we see nowadays. Chronic losing this kickoff immediately for a goal. Standard kickoff from both. Jack with the celebratory circle. Chronic's going to win this one, and it's into his special spot. 30 seconds. The soft setup to not go to the ceiling. I think that's also an adjustment by Chronic because of what Jack has been doing. This is not an accident. You see Chronic every single time he air dribbles. Sends it up high to the ceiling, and when defenders sit and trying to react to him, he will punish. But Jack has been going up there to meet him every time so far this game. So a very intentional soft touch off the wall by Chronic in order to make that not possible. And is able to play the dribble from there. Can he get another one? He does! A kickoff win. And a tap in off the backboard. Chronic up 7-6. Jack trying to slow down the game, trying to control it best he can. Chronic doesn't want to let him. Will he take an air dribble here, or will he once again let the ball drop? Carry, Chronic covers the low dribble. Another opportunity for Jack in the air. He can't let the ball touch the ground, but he's still going to go to his carry, and he just loses it. Probably got ahead of the ball a little bit. Chronic gets the first of what needs to be 3 wins if he wants to take the match. Game 4. We saw a change in Jack as the series went on, like we did against Wiz. But it was the exact opposite change. Jack playing Wiz as he recognized he was controlling the game, could do almost whatever he wanted. He got, because I can't think of any other word, he got goofy with it. Started just flying around the map, trying to hit crazy stuff. Here, he is trying to slow the game down. He has tried to make it very straightforward. He's tried to bring the game to a screeching halt against Chronic, but that's also not working. Chat, somebody in chat just said, Chronic is ass. I'm better than him. Now type in chat how many goals you guys think that player would score against Chronic in one game. Chronic, the reset double off the backboard. 0, 0, 0, 100. Wow, only Ray very he has a ton of faith, is what I'm trying to say in the chatter. 2 own goals. Okay, chat. Now everybody type what number they think Chronic would score in that game. How many goals would Chronic score? Moldy Midget, thank you for the 17 months, by the way. 101. Only Ray just thinks it's going to be a really good game. It's going to be 101 to 100. I want to go watch Only Ray's version of the game. At first when I thought he said that Cortex was going to score 100, that he was saying he'd win. But no, he actually just thinks it's going to be a really high-scoring game. Chronic's going to have the slight edge. It'll be a nail-biter, but Chronic will win 101 to 100. Chronic trying to win by 100 goals. Although I think he's going to fail to do so here against Jack. It'll feel like 100 goals if he brings back a 3-game reverse sweep. He's definitely got Jack out of his flow. Jack, though, still doing well on kickoffs, and he will convert for this one. No, we're not flaming that guy. We're not flaming him. It's just if you come into a chat and say that a pro player is someone that you would beat, you're just kind of asking for it. That was interesting. Chronic almost waited to get bumped and then got to use a wave dash because he did. He was on the post, kind of stuck, and because he didn't move, he got to keep his reset and get bumped by Jack. And therefore, wave dash. Of course, it didn't really matter. Jack scored shortly after anyways. No, I think he said he beat him. I don't think he just said he was bad. I think he said, or maybe he said he would do better than him. There's definitely a direct comparison between himself and Chronic. Chronic did he get his 3rd goal, converting off of poor challenge by Jack in the corner. Chronic and Jack's commentary, well, there's a chance they're both recording it. They have recorded show matches in the past. You may just see them. I played in a $1,000 tournament against my teammate, and you'll never believe what happened. Something like that. I own gold. Although Chronic didn't really own goal. He just didn't get the save. Chronic, the passive free jump. My least favorite thing in all of ones. Listen, we see it a ton. Obviously, it must be effective at times. Some positions you probably have no choice but to be passive. Jack's going to make it 5-3. Chronic trying to fall from the ceiling and take care of the ball. This is a kickoff that people have been experimenting with. I think Jack did it very intentionally. So I think chat was telling me that a lot of people have been doing it. But the intentional loss, the no-jump intentional loss to chip the ball into your back corner, have it bounce out, and then get a possession. It's not one that we see people using often, but we've seen it a couple times now. I think that was Jack's very intentional play. Flakes and AJ have both done it. Yeah, I think it was AJ who said he has been doing it for a long time. All I'll say is I've watched a lot of 1v1 in the specific matches I'm hosting. Definitely nobody is consistently going for that. Chronic, here he is. His wall to air dribble. This time Jack decides to wait. That's a death sentence. You haven't watched enough Chronic 1v1 if you're going to try and sit and wait and let him attack your nets. That is just a 90% conversion rate for Chronic. Jack was on the right path earlier with his... Well, first off, if Chronic does it well enough on the kickoff, he doesn't allow for you to get up early. Ooh, Jack couldn't get this out. Ends up own goaling. Chronic with the lead. What I mean to say is if the kickoff is won quick enough, you only have time to go back and grab your back corner boost. You don't have time to get up to the ceiling as well. But on less ideal ones, you can. But even then, you probably just have to attack Chronic. He just annihilates people when they wait on the goal line. Jack's going to convert on his kickoff, though. Jack own goal. Yeah, now they both have their own goals. Ooh, what a smooth catch. The side foot flick. Yeah, Chronic's throwing the nice one, too. I think it's worthy of it. Has the ball on the sidewall. Really fast catch. Accelerates the ball quickly and then launching it with the flick as well just gives it a level of speed that Chronic's not expecting. That's why even he throws the nice one. But here he is again on his wall to air dribble. This time, the setup is not great. It's a bit too far on the opposite post, and Jack is able to get the save. But he does so, I would argue, by meeting Chronic much higher than he was trying to make the save before. He attacks at him. I think he still would have been in trouble if Chronic had had a better setup, but his setup was, like I said, past the net on the far post. Jack's had a couple head-scratcher kickoffs. He had one earlier against Wiz where he just flipped around and... I mean, is it time for a new controller for Jack? I don't know. Chronic. His flick saved. He needs a goal. 30 seconds. Doesn't seem like it's going to happen. Jack just needs to be safe on his next 2 kickoffs. And he's got himself a grand finals appearance. Chronic actually not in the worst position ever. Has boost to work with. That's what I feel is so important in these late game scenarios. If you want to score, you have to have boost, and Chronic sees the pre-jump on the first air dribble, so he goes back down to the ground and does it again. This time it works out. Chronic quicker up to the ball than Jack is. Gets it over the top of him, so now 14 seconds. Diagonal kickoff. Very volatile kickoff. Both go standard. And Chronic's going to have boost, and he's going to be in his favorite spot. Chronic just needs to hit something he's hit many times this game. He's going to go low. Jack has the save, and Chronic's not even going to try and go get it because he's not going to be able to. Jack heads to the grand finals. Chronic might have farmed 1,000 goals that way, but couldn't quite do it with everything on the line.